Hi, I'm Carlene Lehman. I'm a marriage and family therapist with Relationships Matter Austin, located in Austin, Texas. Today I wanted to talk to you about the brain in the nervous system. These topics come up a lot in the work that I do with couples and parents and families. Dan Siegel has developed this brain model to help us understand it better and to understand exactly what's going on when we're interacting with our loved ones and it goes in a direction that we didn't want it to go, right? Like we get in a fight and it continues to escalate. Well, I wanted to talk to you about why that happens. So, in this brain model, this bottom part is our brain stem. That's the part that first developed in utero as a baby, and that helped us with basic functioning like breathing, heart beating, those functions that we don't even have to think about that occur naturally. And then the next part is our amygdala. That's in the midsection of our brain, and that's the part that controls fight, flight, or freeze. So think about a time that you've gotten into an argument, right? Your loved one said or did something and it triggered you. And then this part is what got triggered. So you either fought, you might have yelled or moved towards them, or flight, right? You decided, this is too much. It's really overwhelming. I'm scared. And you just needed to walk away. And then the other part is freeze. When we get really overwhelmed, and sometimes when we've had trauma in our life, we can go to that freeze place. Okay? And then the next part of our brain that develops is this part up here. It's our prefrontal cortex. That's the part of our brain that helps us to organize. It helps with logical thinking. This is often referred to as the mammalian part of our brain. It's what makes us a mammal. And so it helps to, it overlaps and helps to calm down this amygdala at times. So these both have very important functions. If we didn't have the amygdala, then we wouldn't have that part that helps us survive, that protects us, that alerts us that when there's danger. And sometimes danger can just be that we're in a conflict and it's distressing to us. It doesn't have to be like the caveman days, where a lion might come and might eat you, right? But that is how our brain reacts. It thinks about conflict or those other things that we find distressing. It thinks of them just as if it was a lion coming to eat us. Okay? So there's times when we have those distressing events, and what happens is this part gets overwhelmed and we flip our lid. And when we flip our lid, this part, our prefrontal cortex, that rational thinking part of our brain, is no longer available to us. So everything hits right here. So we go into that survival, that fight, flight, or freeze. And then usually what ends up happening, right, is that the situation, the conflict, continues to escalate because we keep getting triggered and it keeps interacting with our amygdala. And we talk louder, right? We get upset. And then, that causes our partner to either stay engaged and do those same behaviors back, or to go away, right? Or just to freeze, like to be caught in the moment and not even be able to talk or know what to do. And sometimes that can be really hard when our partner freezes because we want to talk it out or we want to solve it. And, why aren't they talking to me? Well, that's why, because they've flipped their lid and they're not able to go there at that time. So when that happens, what we really need to do is be able to stop And this is a thing that takes time. I talk to my clients and parents and teens, and it's about baby steps, right? Because you have been in this pattern for your whole life, maybe, right? But at least for many years, and it's important to be gentle with ourselves as we're making these huge changes. But there are some things you can do. So being able to say, hey, I need to take a break, or hey, I need to go and have a moment to myself. And even being able to start to use the language like, hey, I feel like I'm about to flip my lid, right? I feel like I'm about to go off, and I don't want to do that. And so I'm going to go take this space for myself. Let's talk about this in 20 minutes, or let's talk about it in an hour once we're both calm. And like I said, sometimes that is really hard. Usually one partner really wants to solve it because they have a lot of anxiety during the time that they're waiting to solve it. So it's also letting your partner know, if your partner is in that situation, that we are going to come back. We are going to solve this, but I need a little bit of time first. My nervous system needs to calm down. And so, what can you do to help calm your nervous system? That's what I'm going to talk about in part 2 of this video series, because it is important, right, to be able to have some strategies in the moment. But today I wanted you to understand more about how the brain functions, and be able to visualize and see how that, how we get triggered in those moments, and being able for both you and your loved one, right, to have some more understanding about how that works, because it's so important. If we understand that when we're triggered, that we're just physically not capable of having that rational thought at that moment, is very challenging. And so if we're wanting to have a conversation about something that is going to take a lot of our resources, and is a challenging topic that maybe we've talked about over and over again, that we are going to have to be resourced first in order to be able to have a productive conversation. So check in for the second part of the series, and we're going to talk about strategies for helping your nervous system. Okay? All right. Feel free to leave your comments or questions. I'd love to hear what you guys think. If there's any topics that you'd like to know more about, especially, with the nervous system and the brain. Thank you.